What's up, people? About a month ago, I made a video about 10 3DS games you should buy before the eShop closes on March 27th. And because there are so many amazing games on the 3DS, I thought it'd be fun to make this a 3 to 4 part series highlighting some of the games you should buy and add to your library. Like last time, I'm going to keep it one game per franchise just for the sake of variety. So, with that being said, here are 10 must-buy games before the eShop closes, Part 2. Starting off the list, we have Persona Q Shadow of the Labyrinth. Mix the first-person dungeon crawling of Etrian Odyssey with the characters of Persona and you get this fun and stylish RPG. Persona Q takes the characters of Persona 3 and 4 and has the players explore labyrinths and battle shadows in turn-based combat as you would in the Persona games. You can make teams of 5 from the 20 characters available in the game, and the dialogue will change based on the members currently on the team. Dialogue and events throughout the game will be determined based on if you choose to control the protagonist of Persona 3 or Persona 4. One of the major game mechanics of Shadow of the Labyrinth is the boost meter mechanic. The meter increases by either dealing critical damage or exploiting a weakness on the enemy. Once the boost status is reached, it allows you to use skills with no cost of HP or SP, have a higher chance to initiate co-attacks with other boosted characters, or a chance for an all-out attack depending on how many boosted characters there are at the end of the turn. Persona Q also allows characters to have an extra shadow assigned to them, which are known as sub-personas. These sub-personas don't have any stats or resistances, but instead they provide additional skills and give a bonus to health and skill points. Sub-personas plus the boost meter and the different character combinations give you so many options of customization, and that makes the game feel a little less repetitive. Shadow of the Labyrinth thankfully doesn't have any major details regarding events in Persona 3 and 4, so you can go into this game knowing you're getting a fun, spoiler-free adventure. Next up, we have Donkey Kong Returns 3D. If you couldn't tell by the name, this is a 3D port of the Wii U game that came out in 2010. This platformer is seen by many as one of the best platformers you can get on the 3DS, and is praised for its music, bosses, and flawless level design. Speaking of levels, there are a lot of variety among them. Pirate ships, factories, forests, and volcanoes are scattered throughout these worlds. Add to that the fact that the speed and pace of the levels can change rather quickly, makes it so you rarely have time to catch your breath, in a good way. There are 8 initial worlds, each having between 6 to 8 levels, and a boss encounter, with each progressive area moving around and up DK's island as he battles Mastikis to retrieve his Benetta stash. There's even more post-game content with an extra world of 9 levels, but you have to beat the game and also beat all the K levels you can only get from collecting all the Kong letters throughout the game. If you just play through the game normally, you're looking at about 11 hours, and 29 hours to 100% the game. Even though the Donkey Kong games are notorious for being rather difficult, there is an easy mode added to this version if that's an issue. Either way, unless you already own the Wii version, I believe you'll regret not picking up this fantastic platformer. At number 8, we have Kid Icarus Uprising. 25 years after the original Kid Icarus, Medusa has been resurrected and once again attempts to eradicate mankind while seeking revenge on Pit and Palutena. Upon learning this, Palutena summons Pit to stop the Underworld army and bring peace to their realm once more. Uprising is the third installment in the Kid Icarus series, and each chapter in the story mode is split up into air and land battles. The land battles are like your standard third-person action game and take up the majority of the game, while the air battles are more like a predetermined rail shooter, like some classic arcade games, and are usually no longer than about 5 minutes. Uprising over time has seen generally positive reviews in regard to its story, characters, graphics, and writing. However, the control scheme, particularly for left-handed players, is one of the major criticisms when it comes to Kid Icarus Uprising. Even so, most people who have played the game will tell you it's definitely still worth adding to your library. Next up, we have another Atlas game with Shin Megami Tensei 4. Often being christened by fans as a better Pokemon game than Pokemon, monster collecting, fusing, and fighting takes the main and center stage in this RPG. You can control up to 3 demons at a time, and in order to get the demons on your team, you have to recruit them. For those who have played a Persona or SMT game, you already know how this works, but for everyone else, recruiting involves answering a series of questions asked by the demons. The right answer to their question will determine whether or not they join your party, or go back to attacking you. There are also some scenarios where the demons will flat out just ask for money or a specific item that you can choose to give them or not. But be careful, giving them the item doesn't guarantee that they'll join your party. They may in fact just run off. These constant interactions with demons help keep the gameplay fresh and prevents it from becoming stale and repetitive over your 40 to 100 plus hour playthrough. SMT is regarded as one of the best RPGs the 3DS has to offer, and physical sales for this game are getting a little pricey. So, if you love turn-based games as much as I do, you'll be doing yourself a disservice by not picking this up before March 27th. At number 6, we have the sequel to the launch title of the GameCube with Luigi's Mansion: Dark Moon. After King Boo destroys a large purple crystal known as the Dark Moon, which causes ghosts to become hostile, Luigi is assigned by Professor Elvin Gadd with capturing ghosts once more with the newly improved Poltergeist 5000. Luigi will travel through 5 different mansions in search of the Dark Moon pieces, fighting swarms of boos and ghosts and solving puzzles along his journey. Along with his vacuum, Luigi is equipped with a flashlight, which are his 2 main weapons throughout the game. Similar to the first game, in order to capture a ghost, you have to flash the light on it first and then suck it up with the vacuum. The large variety of ghosts and the different requirements to capturing them helps keep the game fresh all the way through. Exploration is greatly encouraged and rewarded in Luigi's Mansion, as using your light and vacuum in every inch of the mansion can lead to discovering many secrets and treasures, which adds greatly to the immersion. Luigi's Mansion is a very fun and charming game, and with a score of 86 on Metacritic, it is definitely worth checking out. Next on the list, we have the calm and peaceful Animal Crossing New Leaf. In New Leaf, you, as mayor, will be living in a town consisting of 4 to 10 villagers. Also, as mayor, it's your job to develop the town by building bridges, furniture, and shops. The more money or bells you earn, the more things you can create, which leads to more opportunities to make more bells, creating a very addicting gameplay loop. When you're not doing that, the bulk of your time in New Leaf will be spent just relaxing and having fun around the town. Catching bugs, fishing, swimming, digging for fossils, or visiting some of the aforementioned shops like the clothing store or museums are just a few of the things you can do while enjoying your time with all your other villager friends. I know these type of games aren't for everybody, but I feel they have a place even for the most hardcore gamers. When you need a break from the most intense action games like Final Fantasy or Elden Ring, Animal Crossing New Leaf could be the perfect palate cleanser that will also put a smile on your face in the process. Next, at number 4, we have Kirby Planet Robobot. Kirby retains his moves from Kirby Triple Deluxe, which includes the Star Split, Slide Attack, Air Bullet, and also Guarding. In addition to these abilities, Kirby is now able to climb grates and as well as carry some objects underwater. Planet Robobot is a 2.5D platformer which has Kirby moving on a 2-dimensional plane in a 3D environment, and similar to one of my favorite games, Kirby 64, the game's camera moves around to show different angles in some stages. The most notable and obvious new mechanic to this game is Kirby's new Robobot armor. In various levels, Kirby will take control of one of these mech suits either by defeating an invader armor or by finding it during the stage and using it to explore and solve puzzles. Unlike other Kirby games with special abilities, most stages that have the Robobot armor are designed to be used with the armor in mind, minus a couple of rare occasions. Kirby is one of my favorite franchises solely based on fun factor, and Kirby Planet Robobot fits into that group perfectly. At number 3, we have Pokemon X and Y. This game is the 6th installment into the mainline series and is the first of the series to fully embrace 3D. Characters, Pokemon, and the battle system all went 3D to fully embrace the 3DS's hardware. Customization is another newly added feature for this generation. Eyes, hair, skin tone, and clothes can all be altered to your preferred style. While these changes aren't anything mind-blowing, having your character look at least a little unique is definitely appreciated. There are over 500 Pokemon attainable in X and Y, and 72 of those being brand new. If you want to do a team of all new Pokemon, all old, or a hybrid team, you have a ton of options during your 30+ hour adventure. Just like previous Pokemon games, each version of the game has exclusive Pokemon that you can only get in that game, so maybe go check a list before buying to make sure your favorite Pokemon can be caught, because I'm not sure if trading online is still available on the 3DS. Like I said in part 1 when talking about Sun and Moon, every Pokemon game has to have a gimmick, and Mega Evolution is the one for X and Y. Mega Evolution is a temporary in-battle transformation that results in an overall increase in stats, sometimes also changing a Pokemon's ability and types. In order for Mega Evolution to work, you'll need a Keystone, and your Pokemon will need to be holding a Mega Stone. Also, just so you know, not every Pokemon can Mega Evolve. I believe it's around 25 or something, close to that. Like Z-moves in Sun and Moon, some people might not like the gimmicks Game Freak adds to Pokemon games, but I appreciate anything that breaks up the monotony, even if it's only temporary. A lot of people would say X and Y is the best Pokemon game on the 3DS, and with taking the best parts of previous gens and adding new things to the mix, it's hard to disagree. At number 2, we have Fire Emblem Fates. Now, I actually have some time-sensitive information regarding buying this game if you live in the UK, so if you do live in the UK, skip to the time on the screen. Otherwise, you can listen normally and then skip to number 1 afterwards. Fire Emblem Fates is a strategy RPG and the 14th game in the Fire Emblem series. The story revolves around Corrin, who was raised as a Nora prince or princess, finding out that they are actually blood related to the rival Hoshido family, whom the Nora people have been constantly at war against. Upon finding this out, they have a choice to make. Go back with the family that raised them, go back to their blood relatives, or choose not to fight with either. Your choice will lead into either playing Fire Emblem Conquest, Birthright, or Revelations, respectively. As far as gameplay goes, it's pretty similar to Fire Emblem Awakening. You have a weapon triangle to take advantage of matchups, support conversations that lead to stat boosts of 2 characters on the field, and terrain effects to take control of a tough chapter. Outside of some new classes and weapons, you're pretty much getting a similar game to Awakening. They did introduce a Phoenix mode with less allies that have died during the battle return to the next player phase. That plus the Birthright path is known for being easier than Conquest, so if you're new to Fire Emblem or SRPGs in general, I would recommend choosing and siding with the Hoshido family when given that crucial choice. Okay, now for the eShop stuff. If you live in the US or anywhere outside of the UK, you can just skip to number 1. As of February 27th, for people in the UK, you can't buy Fire Emblem Fates on the eShop. The reason for that is in order to get to the part where the story splits off, you have to reach Chapter 6 in Birthright first. And they don't want a situation where people are buying the game right before March 27th and not being able to buy the other 2 paths because they didn't reach the Chapter 6 fast enough. Fortunately, if you buy Fire Emblem Fates physically, you can still buy Conquest and Revelation Pass as long as you get to Chapter 6 before March 27th. Even though some of you may have to jump through a couple of hoops to get all the content available, I really don't think you'll be disappointed with one of the best strategy games the 3DS has to offer. Okay, that's all I got for you today. Let me know what 3DS games others should buy before March 27th. If you haven't seen part 1, I'll put a link in the description as well as on the screen. Also, if part 3 is out, that should be in the description as well. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe to keep up with the channel. Later.